What is going on, everybody? This is Travis with Travis's Comic Haven, and I've got something really special tonight. I've interviewed before Corey Byrd of Bird's Eye View Comics, and he came back to me to present uh, his company's first ever Omnibus, which is going to be a collection of horror themed stories. And for what I'm gathering for the first time is that this is the first time that all of them have been together in this capacity. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and turn it over to everybody on the team of Bird's Eye View Comics.
All right, everybody. Everybody, thank you so much for being here. I'm Corey Bird, editor in chief of Bird's Eye View Comics, creator of Tooth and Nail, and the Ravens Macabre, as well as the Shadow Knight. And tonight we just have some great artists and creators here that took place that did excellent writing and storytelling in the Ravens Macabre series. We did 3 volumes of the book, and then I put them all together into one book called The Ravens Macabre Omnibus. So, and there was also an extra story put in by Matthew Bradley and Mike Lewis. So we will, I guess we'll go around and introduce ourselves. I just did introduce myself. So next up,
I'll go. Tim Bass. I am a writer for Bird's Eye View Comics. My story, along with Shane Hunt, who's the artist, our story, Cell Block 666, appeared in Volume 2 of Raven's Macabre.
And hey, everybody, I'm Lanier Burton. I actually met Corey at a convention, and he offered me a chance to contribute a story. And since I was already doing comics on my own, from scratch comics, that is coolestdolo.com, I was like, okay, yeah. So then I got a little story in there called "The Guest for the King," featuring a character Omen the Guest. And yeah, I've self-published about 40 comics or so far. And yeah, glad to be here.
What's up, guys? My name is Patrick Hickey Jr., and I am the owner and editor-in-chief of Legacy Comics, and I am a super happy contributor to Bird's Eye View Comics. I wrote The Nest and The Messenger for Raven's Macabre. I'm also a voice actor. You may know me from Five Nights at Freddy's Into the Pit.
Hi, I'm Beth. I'm one of the writers in the first volume of Ravens Macabre. I did take it off, and Tony Prince did the amazing artwork in that. And then I also helped kind of tweak everybody's work here and there, just making sure all the P's, the Q's, the T's, and I's are all where they belong.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tony Prince. I'm a member, an artist, and sometime writer with Raven. I'm sorry, with Bird's Eye View Comics. I've also partnered with Beth with first volume one of Take It Off. I illustrated that, uh, and also I did some work with volume three for Taxi Ride, and I've got some works in process for the future. And also, I have another book I've done with Bird's Eye View, The Unholy Hour. I've been with the company about 3 years almost at this point, and I got to say it's a great opportunity. I'm glad I'm doing it again, and can't wait to see what else this will be unfold as this journey continues.
Let's get Casey. Casey, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Casey. I did Hollow for Bird's Eye, Ravens Macabre Volume 2, and kind of on a little hiatus right now, but planning to get back at it soon.
All right. I think the last one that we got left is Chris.
no, we got Matthew, we got Chris, and yeah, Matthew and Chris.
Matthew and Chris.
Yeah.
I can go next. My name is Matthew Bradley. I write Biorhythm now for Bird's Eye View Comics. Corey asked me if I'd ever written horror before, and this was the first time I wrote a horror story for anything. And I wrote the story called Red Hat, which was a journey to write. Really enjoyed it. And it's I worked with Michael Lewis, and I'm really proud of that story.
Hi, I'm Chris O'Connell. I worked with Ryan on the Guest for a King, and there's the writer right there. so, um, so Ryan was the penciler. I was the guy who was the embellisher. So,
Yeah, and
It
so
was a
we
great
give
time.
a shout out to
sorry.
Ryan as well. Ryan Villa, he joined us. He was the penciler for Guest for a King, and also Shane Hunt, who could not join us. He's also the creator and artist of Ugly, who also worked with Tim Bass with Cell Block 666.
Oh, cool.
And Ernest Owen Dickinson, who worked on The Messenger. He's all the way from China, though, so he's probably sleeping right now or just waking up for breakfast. So,
Well, with all that being said, thanks for being here, guys, and ma'am, for being here, taking time out of your evening to take and do something like this. This is all about you guys and promoting what you've accomplished with doing this. So, I want to go in order though through the books that are within this omnibus. So obviously, I guess we got to start with the main guy because he had to put his book in there first. So, Corey, would you mind talking a little bit about the Book of Glitter?
So the Book of Glitter was loosely based on my son who hates glitter, and I decided that I was going to turn that into a horror story. So, if you notice in the book, the characters practically look like me and Beth, and slightly like my son, and then the little girl that's in it. It's a mixture between my oldest daughter and my youngest daughter, who had the real curly hair when they were growing up and everything. And I wanted to make a story that was kind of fun and colorful, but also terrifying at the same time. Which kind of harkens back to like Creep Show and Tales from the Crypt. Those scenes when there's a lot of color going on, even though it's horrific things going on. So that was my vision for that.
Nice. Is there anything that's going to move forward with that? Is this just a one shot for the omnibus, or is there more to the story? Is it going to build
No, that's just a one shot.
one shot?
Mhm.
Good, good, and it was colorful to say the least. It was. It was just missing some glitter though. I'm no detailist, but
There was a lot of glitter. He wasn't happy about the glitter though, and it was
I
the first
definitely
time
want
I
to
had
know. Hey,
color.
Corey, what?
Yeah, go ahead. Did somebody have a question?
Sorry, I wanted to know your favorite Edgar Allan Poe story.
ooh,
I would probably Mike's is back. I would probably yeah, we can hear you. So that's Mike Lewis, everybody. So I would probably say my favorite Edgar Allan story would probably be The Raven, and that's more of a poem than a full fledged story. If I were to go with story, probably I would probably say The Telltale Heart. That was actually the very first story I had read when I was in was it grade school or high school? I can't remember. It was one of the two, but it was amazing. It caught my eye and blew me away, and I wanted to tell stories ever since that.
well, hit
Dope.
pause real quick. We got Mike Lewis back in here. So, Mike, can you go ahead and do a little bit of an introduction and what it is that you worked on within this omnibus?
Yeah, if you guys can hear me all right.
Yep.
Mike Lewis. I worked on the second Ravens Macabre story, which was reprinted in this omnibus, which was the Carter, which is a little comic book about my life. And then I worked on Red Hat um, with Matthew. Uh, lend some writing credits, but I won't I won't credit myself as a writer. That was all him. And that was pretty much it. I think I did some pinups or whatnot. I don't know which got used in this one or the last one. So
Well, nice. Glad to have you finally in here. Got all the technical stuff worked out. So good to have you
yeah,
here.
I had to hijack my son's laptop from school.
Moving on with the theme here, we already talked about Glitter, which was the first book in the omnibus. So now we're gonna move on to the prankster, the comedian, the voice actor. We're gonna move on to Patrick, and you did the messenger, which I enjoyed. It was very well done. So I'd like to hear how that became to be in your point of view.
So, the way it all came to be was Corey and I have done some work together in the past. He did a issue of Brooklyn Bleeds with me, Hasty Bing, which is it's a horror zombie series that I write for Legacy Comics. It's a lot of fun. Corey crushed that issue. Um, I've interviewed him before. I've been a journalist for 20 years, so that's how we met. I interviewed him for Bird's Eye View Comics, and then he told me about Raven's Macabre, and I was interested because I mean I write tons of comics as it is, but it was just like Corey's like, I'm gonna set you up with an artist that you've never worked with before, and you write something, and I'll make it happen. And I'm just like, this is cool. This is like the type of experience that you want to have in indie comics, getting matched up with somebody that you've never worked with before. Those are like the types of opportunities that I love to jump on top of. So introduced me to Ernest Owen Dickinson, who's all the way in China. So we're talking at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, my time, for like a month, putting the piece together. And I've always loved noir and Frank Miller style comics. So my whole thing was Corey and I had an agreement from the beginning where I was going to retain like digital control of the character, and he was going to be able to print it. So it was great. And it was just like I wanted to start to build out some of the villains in my comic book company, but I wanted to test them out on his audience, which worked out fantastic. And I just thought it would be really cool to kind of see what it would be like to see the other side of a kidnapping. You know, it's always like just the victim or just the people watching from the sidelines. So to kind of see like what a kidnapping would be like from the actual kidnapper's point of view, and then to throw in some twists and turns. Um, yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Nobody ever considers the kidnappers. Good lord.
Mhm. They don't. They're so inconsiderate. But it's just kind of like that's kind of like the approach I have with a lot of the comics that I write, because like Brooklyn Bleeds is a zombie book that is from the point of view of a dog during a zombie apocalypse, because no one ever talks about like animals during a zombie apocalypse. They just think about humans. So this was just another way for me to kind of like put a spin on a classic horror tale. And I gave Ernest like a really nice rundown of the script and what I wanted the characters to look like, and I feel like he did a really good job. So I had a lot of fun watching him put it all together, and then I lettered the book, so that was fun too.
Very nice, very nice. So now moving to a story.
You got to end it off with your favorite Edgar Allan Poe story, though.
Oh, good point.
Probably The Fall of House of Usher or Annabelle Lee. There's probably definitely some Annabelle Lee in this, because the relationship between the kidnapper and his victim is definitely not what anyone was expecting when they first started reading the story. So yeah, I could definitely see some Annabelle Lee in this one.
Nice.
I gotta say, I only saw the series Fall of the House of Usher, and that was amazing. I don't know how close they followed the book. I never read that story.
Nope.
I feel like there's like a compressor running in the background. Is that just me?
Somebody messing with their audio.
Afraid it was me again.
Yeah, we're getting some machinery noise. Okay, is that better?
You just gotta shut off their mic.
Who is it?
I have no idea who it is.
If everyone shuts their mic off like for a second, we can kind of find out who it is probably.
I don't seem to have anything on my end.
Speaking of kidnapping, it sounds like someone's being kidnapped right now.
Right?
Sounds like
It
it.
does sound like somebody is being kidnapped right now.
God
And how
damn
dare
it.
Chris from Play Comics say that I'm a prankster right now? How dare he say that on YouTube? I'm watching the comments right now. I see you, Chris from PlayComics.com.
Uh,
That's a
Well,
little
for
bit
you,
better, I guess.
I think it's Matt. I think it's Matt.
Oh, okay.
Matt, do me a favor. Do me a favor. Just lower it a little bit. Yeah, like a 7. Get you at like a 1.
The beautiful thing about doing live podcasts.
Yeah.
So let's move forward. The third book in this omnibus, which was an interesting story to read. And I'm interested to see and hear the take on it, and the inspiration behind it, and that is Take It Off, and that is done by Beth, and Tony. So go ahead and tell us why that book came to be.
Yeah. So, first off, I don't write horror, but Corey was like, "I really want you to write something for the first Ravens and Macabre." So I was like, "Okay." I sat down with my computer. 15 minutes later, I was like, "Here you go." And I figured, what was the worst thing that I'd ever had to endure? What was like my own personal nightmare? And I went to private school for 12 years, and I had to wear that awful skirt every day. And literally graduated from senior year, ripped that damn thing off and threw it away. So it's kind of, and I'm not kidding.
No,
It's
I hear
horrible
you.
navy blue with white pinstripes. It's disgusting.
I'm having
But
PTSD thinking
yeah,
about it.
so I wrote that, and then I kind of, I put my hate into the skirt, and the skirt, well, then, um, wreaks havoc on its wearer. And for me, it was more like the things that kind of not just wrap themselves around us and actually cause physical pain, but the things that we kind of like drag with us, like our guilt or our shame, or real heady girl stuff. A lot of emotional baggage, if you will, but it kind of gets materialized, for lack of a better word, via the skirt. And so that's why the girl wearing the skirt needs to take it off. And Corey had a really good ear and eye for the story and paired me up with Tony. And I can't draw at all. So when I saw his interpretation of it, it was as if, like, I don't know, like our brains just completely synced. I mean, to the point where he and I actually, started very briefly talking about a new project of his. And so, yeah, I'll let Tony take it from there. Oh, wait, my favorite, uh, Edgar Allan Poe would be also The Telltale Heart. My dad used to read that to me all the time, all the time. I would beg for him to read me that story. And then I also like Cask of Amontillado, and several
Oh,
of the other pieces
amazing.
that
Yeah, that one's
wherever
good.
Vincent Price
That one's real
played a
good.
part in the movies, in Fall of the House of Usher and a couple of others. But yeah, wherever Vincent Price personified an Edgar Allan Poe story, that's where I was.
Nice, nice. All right,
No
yeah,
one, no one die on the podcast, please.
right. All right,
Two on the
hello.
nose on the horror podcast.
Go ahead, Tony.
All right, hello everyone. So thanks a lot, Beth. I appreciate it. Yeah, going off of what Beth said, uh, we had a great connection with the story. Um, it was something gloomy and dark about it. This inner darkness with it is it's just the build up, and I love that. And I just love the girl. She's a great writer. I'm not gonna even lie, and I definitely want to do more projects. Can't wait to see what else we roll out. But the story was started off so simple, and it just kept escalating, and I love that repetition about that story, and how it just it it opened up a lot of creativity that I had to build, kind of, work with. And it was kind of me getting back into kind of drawing again anyway. And being able to tell a story visually and, and direct. So, again, I think what I did and what we did together was a great job. And the images is, I can't, even when I look back now, I think I get more and more impressed with it. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, did, you ever look back at your work and like, did I really do what I wanted to get out when I did it? When I look at it, I'm like, yeah, yeah, I did. So I'm not mad. I'm happy with it, very happy with it. So yeah, definitely love the story and love the work that you did.
I love it when a plan comes together.
There we go.
Mhm.
All right. So we'll get to Tony's favorite Edgar Allan Poe book when we get to his story.
Well,
So the next one,
hold on. I
oh,
would say, let me say, it was like, I'm sorry to throw it in now, but The Raven is my favorite Edgar Allan Poe story, and that story was like The Raven to me. It's just the Raven kept knocking on her door. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, you got it. If you haven't read it, read it. It's great story. It's beautiful, and I'm glad I illustrated it. I did it justice. So thank you.
well put, well put. So now we're gonna move on to Mike, the laptop
Yeah.
thief. We're
What's
gonna
up?
we're gonna move on to Mike, and Mike, you did the Carter, and so
Yeah.
give us some of the inspiration for that book and a little bit about the book.
Inspiration is taken directly from my life. I had a teacher say that I was haunted in third grade, and that kind of stuck with me. I didn't know what she meant by that. I assumed she was being an asshole. Um, but I guess I was a little bit. So I took horror inspiration because I grew up in a welfare hotel for about 3.5 years of my life, which was the cruelest place on earth, and it was a place I nicknamed Hell for a while in Midtown New York, actually 43rd and 8th. Hotel Carter. The building is still there, although it's condemned as of right now. I don't know what's happening to it. I hope it burns in hell. So I did some exaggeration. I took some liberties with my life story, and I added a few things. I like to call it my true life story. That's 100% bullshit. Um, but I had some fun with that because Corey got me out of a funk just by encouraging me to work on a project after almost a year of my pen being down. And all the artists know that on this podcast know for certain when you don't work on something for a while, depression will set in and keep you down. Which is why I'm so glad everybody's
Mhm.
constantly working, and I love hearing your stories about your successful projects because it keeps me going. But so I worked on that, and I did the first story, which was an introduction story to the Carter, and a few of the characters, some fictional, some not. I did actually about 100 pages to the Carter, and then I got caught up in my own nonsense, and I kind of bailed on that. Which again, Corey, sorry,
It's
but
all right.
back to it. I am coming back around to it. It's just I'm not an easy person to work with within my own head. Um, and yeah, that was about it. Um, I took inspiration from a lot of what I was seeing come out of Ravens Macabre. You guys with some of your gritty black and white stories, the tones and stuff. I was really impressed, and I wanted to get back in it. I love indie work because I love the rawness of it. It's just like indie films. When you don't have much to work with, you kind of put everything into it, and you kind of get a better product a lot of times. Um, so I was really happy to do that. And yeah, so right now this only has the introduction to Carter. There's at least 90 more pages where this came from, which I will release eventually.
Nice, nice, nice. So moving on. This is a book that was kind of interesting to me because I have worked in the uh, corrections field. I was
Oh
a
God.
juvenile correction officer, so I kind of have it. wasn't exactly the same. So, but we're gonna move on to Tim, and Tim's gonna tell us about Cell Block 666.
Yeah. So Corey reached out to me. So let me start back by saying I've known Corey since our college days back in Columbia College, Chicago, stomping the halls and working together and causing all kind of trouble. He reached out to me and asked me did I want to write for his comic label, and he had an idea, and that idea was Ravens Macabre. And he knows that I am a horror junkie. I admittedly have not read a ton of horror, but I will literally watch anything that is considered horror, good or bad. Um, and so I just jumped at the opportunity. And the idea honestly came about because I was sitting around thinking like, what would my contribution to this horror book be? And the first thing I thought of was the prison setting. Like, how many horror stories do you see of or hear about in that atmosphere? And so I was curious to see what I came up with, kind of see what the limitations of being in a prison would do for like the characters and the story. And then I just like the idea of the Raven sort of swooping in and causing chaos and giving us a glimpse in all of these wild and weird stories, and then just flying off again to another place and giving us a whole new horror vision somewhere else. And the artwork is Shane Hunt. Again, Corey mentioned he's a creator and writer of Ugly. And if you guys have not picked up an issue of Ugly, you're missing out. It is absolutely fantastic. But when he showed me Shane's artwork, I mean that got me even more invigorated because it just sort of fit so well with what the story was. It just sort of clicked immediately and it just worked. And we I think we got a really good story out of it.
It was a good story. I enjoyed reading Cell Block 666. It was very well. And the one thing I really like when artwork is done and it's done in a black and white scale is when you take um and you add just a little hint of color to it. And
Yeah.
when you have this black and white, black and white, black and white, and the grays and the tones, and then you throw in red, and another book within here that did that is one. It's the last book that we're going to talk about, but we'll get there when we get there. Um, it did it as
Uh,
well, so it was very impactful the way it was done within Cell Block 666 as well, because
can
it
I
was one.
interject something? I'm
Yeah, go
sorry, I
for it.
didn't mean. Cell Block 666 is why I started adding the red highlights to Carter because I thought it looked so good in that.
Wow. That was, I have to give all credit to Shane. I gave him
It
like
looked
basic
fantastic.
ideas. Yeah, I gave him basic ideas of what I thought the characters would look like. And his first idea was, well, we should do it in black and white. And at first I was like, well, I don't really know what that would look like. But he gave us some sketches. And I was like, okay, he's got it. This is exactly what it needs to look like. I was like, he knows what he's doing. So from there on, I was set to go.
Yeah, it was a very Frank Miller, Sin City look to it as well. When I first saw it, I was like, "Oh wow, that's very Frank Miller there," because he did that in Sin City with the little splashes of red and everything like that. So, it's great to see people's influences come into these stories and these creations.
Yep.
Yeah, it's great when you got a black and white book to just have the accents of red because it makes everything pop. So I
Exactly.
started doing that
Yep.
with a because the color theme for the Carter, the damn doors in the place were red. So when I saw Cell Block 666, I said, you know what, they got a right idea there. So I shamelessly ripped you guys off.
It's all right. It's all right.
We love it. Hey, hey.
Artists rip
Inspir-
each other off all the time.
you
Yeah, I
know,
shamelessly did it.
you find inspiration wherever you
Very
can.
much.
You know,
Well, let's see here. I got Casey still in here. Casey, let's go to you and let's talk about Hollow. What was the inspiration behind that, and tell us a little bit about it.
Well, Hollow was a based on a dream I had where a friend of mine committed suicide.
I'm sorry.
I lost contact with him for a while and had that dream, and later found out he had overdosed around the same time. But me and him talked back and forth back in 2003, 4, 5 about writing comic books, and thought I would use that as a vehicle to try to bring some of our characters to life and kind of highlight mental health just a little bit. And he was very much about music, so I took the title from a Pantera song about basically the same thing.
Nice, nice, nice. I'm sorry that happened to you. That's nothing that's something that nobody should have
Yeah,
to
my
go through.
condolences.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um.
when I was working with Casey with that, he confided with me in that and everything, and I thought it was a beautiful tribute to his friend, and to tell that story and be so brave to tell that story. So thank you for that, Casey.
Yeah.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Well, let's loop back around, and I guess we have to, go back to the guy, the head honcho, and the comedian. Um. So we're going back to Patrick and Corey, and we're going to talk about the nest.
Patrick, I'll let you start since you came up with the story.
Yeah, sure. I had just finished. So I've written 7 books on video game history. I've interviewed hundreds of video game developers. Um, and one of my favorite chapters was with the developers of Red Dead Revolver. Um, and they just told me the story of how that game all came to be. And I used it as a chapter in one of my books. And then probably like 3 years later, I'm like, let's comic book up this chapter and like let's turn this chapter into an actual comic. And I did that with Joshua Adams for Legacy Comics. And that was just me essentially transcribing the interview and then us laying in like that Western exterior. And during that process, I'm like, I really want to write a Western book. Like, I want some cowboys, you know? And then we were at this point with Ravens Macabre where I found out Corey was doing volume 3. And I was like, what about a Western horror? And he was like, you, what? Okay, yeah, let's go. And so the thing is, I have a series for Legacy Comics called Condry. It's kind of like how Corey has Tooth and Nail. That's his baby. I have Condry. It's very Frank Millery. It's about a New York City homeless man who's trying to find out who killed his dad. Um, and the lore in that series like stretches like back like hundreds of years. So I was like, what if we introduce like a character 400 or 500 years, in the past and stuff like that, and then da 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 da, and it turned out to be a character in the Nest. So very very old school like spaghetti western style story, but then mixes in the horror elements and some of my favorite 80s horror movies and things like that. There's a lot of that in there, and then Corey and I just had so much fun putting it together, like lettering it and just like being on the same page. And we actually did a sequel to it that we released digitally for Legacy, and it's bird's eye views whenever they want it for print. And Shane Hunt did the art for it, and it came out fantastic. So yeah, that's kind of how it came to be. It's a Western style horror comic book.
And the interesting part is I've never done a Western before. So, doing a little bit of research on that and looking up, Western pictures. And I'm not a huge Western fan. I mean, I've seen a couple here and there, but yeah, I'm
Mm,
not.
mm, mm,
My
But of
God.
course,
mm.
I had to do my research and everything. And,
Damn.
I
Yeah,
was
the
kind of
first picture
mixing
he
up my
sent me of the
style.
horse, the tail was on like the nose, and I'm like, Corey, that's not how a horse looks. You know?
There he goes with his lies again. No, what I wanted to do also is I wanted to give it an old look. So what you see in that book is I did everything in pencil, and then I just went over it with the effects and everything in Procreate. so it still had like a very uh, graphite look to it on the page, and then with the filter that Patrick used to give it like that old looking paper to it. So that's why it was a lot of fun doing that, because doing it in pencil only was something I always wanted to do a comic and everything. I've seen other artists do it before. I've seen Joe Madureira do it with Battle Chasers, and they would color over his pencils and everything. So I just wanted to do something on those lines, and I think it would have made it look. I think it makes it more grittier and more older looking to it. So, and I even asked him, I said, "Is it okay if I do it in pencil?" He was like, "Is that going to look all right?" And I was like, "We're going to see." And I tested it out and showed it to him. He loved it.
Nice, nice, nice. Moving on, we're going to talk about Quest for a King. This was a busy book. The artwork in it was awesome, and it was just so captivating. It was very, very busy. Go ahead and talk to us about the inspiration for that book.
So the guest for the king. Funny enough, I had a chance encounter with Corey at a convention, and we traded information and whatnot. And I think a few months later, he had reached out to me about the Ravens Macabre. And at first, I offered to put in my story Shrivel here, because I love horror stories, so I've been making horror stories, right? And wow, Corey, he loved the story. He was like, I'm looking for something that'll fit the format a little more, something like that. So literally after we had the conversation and I was at work, I just started sketching out the guest for the king. I did it in like 30 minutes. Did it on post-it notes that I had laying around. Wrote, storyboarded the whole thing there. It draws from Mike Magnolia, Hellboy, EC Comics. I love to have characters that are like what they're about. And I love horror that's like that. You don't know everything. Something that's really completely alien, not a lot of dialogue. It's just atmosphere and tension. I like that sort of stuff.
Yeah, and the
And
artist for that, you want to talk about working with Ryan and Chris Lindner?
Yeah, so even before that, we had a journey. So we had a lot of different people that we were trying to connect with and talk to about things. They fell out. But then when we finally got to Chris and Ryan, they just they understood the story and they really fleshed it out. Like they got it. It looks really crisp. Um, I just love it. It's otherworldly. It's a beautiful, beautiful work. Beautiful piece of work. As for my favorite Edgar Allan Poe story, I also got to go with Beth. It's the Casca Armadillo. I love how Poe he writes. Like he gives you so much of the scene and the atmosphere, and you want to know more about these characters because their problems with one another are so deep. But you're so brief. There's so little time that you have to spend with them, right? But their jealousies and their paranoia is so thick and it's tense, and you just love it. I love that story. Great.
I think one of the cool things too about Poe, especially in that story, is it introduces the theory of like an untrustworthy narrator. Where it's just like the guy telling the story is the one with the emotional problem. So it kind of puts a big twist on everything.
Right.
And then just that whole brick by brick,
Right.
it's just the tension that builds up in that story is chef's kiss.
Right.
well,
Beautiful.
we
Very
have made
suspenseful.
it. Go ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead. Lanier, you didn't have anything else to say? I'm sorry. I thought I was walking over you.
That's it.
That's it. We
Sorry,
made it to
it's
the
such a
last book.
delay. I can't.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
Guy
Go ahead.
farted like 3 times, no one heard it.
I smelt it all the way over here.
What do you think?
Nice. Well, you should. I mean, it was Indian food, buttered chicken.
I thought
so-
somebody outside was letting off shots, so I didn't want to say nothing.
Duck and cover.
Well, we
But they call
have
me machine gun, so.
we have made it to the last book of
Well,
this
it's actually
omnibus.
two. It's actually two. You missed Taxi Ride. Tony's Taxi Ride.
I did miss Taxi. Tony, I am so sorry.
Oh yeah.
And you didn't
We'll
even
get him,
stop
Tony.
me.
Don't worry, Tony.
Oh, I'm good, man. Don't worry about it.
Well,
But go ahead.
let's we'll do Taxi last. Let's go
All
ahead
right.
and get to Red Hat with Matt and Mike. Matt, go ahead and tell us about Red Hat and what the inspiration, the pull for that was, and a little bit more about the story.
Matt's in here. I can't see shit. My eyes are terrible. Hey, Matt.
You're muted, Matt.
Matt, you're
You're
on mute.
muted, Matt. Matt, you're
Like
muted.
a Bruce Lee movie. Yeah, there you go.
He's trying to find it.
Yeah, I don't even have him. There we go.
It's like, oh my God,
Can
Godzilla.
you hear me?
I can
There he
see
is. Now we
him.
can see you.
All
Gotcha.
right.
Gotcha.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yep, we
Yeah,
got
we
you
hear you.
now.
You're in. You're in, baby.
You're in. Go for it.
Good now?
Platform's yours.
All right. All right. All right. So, like, when Corey asked me to write for Ravens Macabre, um, I read every other story that was in Ravens Macabre previously. And, like, everybody was focused on the Edgar Allan Poe of it all, you know? And I was thinking about the Raven itself, and I was like, there's a lot of mythology and lore, and there's a lot that goes into like a raven as a spirit animal and so on. So I was looking at Native American cultures because who has more lore about animals than natives and Native Americans? And come to find out, the Navajo had the most lore about ravens, more than any of the others. So I did some brief research and went through it all, and decided to use that as my angle. My other big inspiration, my big pull was I was watching a lot of Lovecraft Country, which is a great
Yeah, I
show.
love that one.
Like for the first 5 episodes, that is some classic TV,
Yep.
and it introduced an angle on horror that I felt like needed a little more tapping into. So that was my angle. Is I wanted to take a more spiritual approach to what a raven means in natural sense, and I also wanted to tie that into a more modern aspect of horror, namely racism. Um, that
Mm.
was my approach. But when it came to working with Mike Lewis, and Mike, this is my first time actually seeing you and hearing your voice. It's
I
really
wish I could
nice to
say the
meet you
same. I
here,
got the
man. You're
eyesight of a
awesome.
90-year-old.
Yeah, for real. Like, but yeah, he helped a lot. Like, he helped boil down the words. I went through my writing process, and he deserves a lot of credit for this story. He took my story, and I'm not even gonna lie, man, he made it a little better.
I
Um,
appreciate that.
hey, I told you in that email, brother, that like working with you made a difference in how I write. I learned a lot working with you,
Thank you.
and I'm very proud of that story that we made.
I am too. I think it came out really good. My motivation was just I can't stand fucking racists, and I'd love to see them ripped apart by Navajo demons. So
I
I'm a
used
pretty
a lot of
I'm a
real
pretty simple
Navajo
dude.
words in that too.
Amen to that.
So
Yeah.
like as soon as he
Amen to
said red
that.
hat ripped apart by a demon, I went, I'm in.
Well, yeah, man. I'm really glad you liked the story. That meant a lot to
Yeah,
me.
it was fun.
I was
Yeah, and
telling
I went in and I colored all the hats red, by the way.
Yes, he did. Thank you,
That's.
Corey.
I guess armbands are out of fashion. It's all about the hats now.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
when I heard Matt was gonna write a story for the omnibus, I and found out he never wrote horror before. I was like on the edge of my seat. I always get excited when people who tap into genres they've never done before because it always gives you a perspective you've never seen. It never
Mhm.
fails, and I was so excited, and it did not disappoint. You and Mike killed it. I love that story so much.
Well, thank you. I'm so heartened to hear that so many EC fans are here, encouraged by the old books, because as Corey knows, I talk all the time about Bernie Wrightson being one of my inspirations, particularly when it comes to tapping into horror. Now, I can tap into
Mhm.
other genres when it comes to other genres. You know, if I'm drawing a Matrix futuristic sci-fi book, that's a different thing. But when it comes to horror, there's something very, very particular and on point with the old EC horror books. I
Mhm.
mean, they nailed it in a way that I don't think anybody could replicate.
Well,
No.
and
No.
one,
And the films too. Tales from the
And the
Crypt
films,
and
yes,
all that.
absolutely.
yeah. Oh, and one thing I want to throw in, my favorite Edgar Allan Poe story is totally The Fall of the House of Usher. When I was in high school, I wrote a prequel to that story.
No kidding.
Yeah, I took a shot at
Well,
Nice.
as I said, I've never read it. Has anybody seen the Netflix series? I'm curious to see
I did.
how much
it.
it
Nah,
matches, or if it matches at all.
Yeah, I saw
I
it.
have no idea.
I mean, it's
I haven't
hugely
seen that
expanded,
yet.
of course. It's hugely
Yeah.
expanded and modernized.
Okay.
Not that it's bad, but it's just different.
Hmm.
Well, let's get to Tony and let's get to Taxi, and then we're gonna wrap all this up, and everybody's gonna give us their how do I want to put this? Your selling speech for this omnibus. So, Tony, go ahead and tell us the inspiration for Taxi and a little bit about what the storyline is.
All right. Well, Taxi Ride came on, I would say, sometime 2016, 2017. It's a short story that it leads to more. It's going to develop more, and I'm glad I was able to do this part of the story now. But it's going to develop into something bigger later. And it was an introduction to this psychopath or sociopath who travels around the city and basically, it's like I would say, Jack the Ripper kind of guy, and he abducts people's brains and heads and stuff like that, and he collects them. And his whole thing is to pretty much you'll find out more to generate certain types of people. But anyway, I kind of kept it old school. I wanted this old New type of detective vibe and just cruising through the city. I wanted the atmosphere to speak most about the type of world they living in, and I wanted just you building up with the characters and just hearing their stories. It's almost like taxi cab profession. It was like this guy just sits in the back and he just, delivers just this, grim type of story about what he's gonna do and what he wants from the city. And you just listen to him as you just looking at the city, and you kind of give your own impression about what you think. And one of the things I started with, if you can go when you look at the first page in the scene where he's in the cab and he's waiting for the guy to get in, it says green and blue, and that's from Miles Davis and Coltrane. If you play that, and you'll get a nice little understanding with as you read. So a little nice music to go with your reading as well. But for the most part, like I said, it's a build up, and I wrote that, and I couldn't wait to actually illustrate it, and I think I did a great job on it. I love the tones, I love the whole atmosphere, and I can't wait to see it on full more. I love that. So.
It was a very good book, and I did catch the song title on the radio as well.
Oh yeah, good, cool.
All right, so we've gone through all the books. We've heard from everybody explaining their books. Now I want you to do your selling pitch. I want to know. I want the listeners to know why they should go for this book. So let's start with Tim. Tim, what's your selling pitch for this book?
Well, I think the omnibus has something for everybody. I think depending on what sort of gets you going, what scares you, there's just different types of stories in the book that just comes from different avenues and explores different themes and different ideas. And it's nice to see a collection of different stories from different artists and writers come together. And I think it's just a really good collection of some kind of terrifying stories if you can relate to some of them. So they're very relatable in that sense.
Nope, Corey, you're not going yet. Nah, nah,
He goes
nah.
last.
You gonna go last. Mike, go
Thanks.
ahead
Thanks a
and give us
lot.
your selling pitch for this.
Say that again. You calling me?
Yep.
Oh, well, it's comic books created by comic book people, and I don't know how often we get that anymore. We get a lot of mass-produced stuff by drones out of art school, um, and I like the fact that it's real stories written by people who believe in the medium and believe in their work, and it gives people like me a chance to work with others and expand and learn, which is the most important thing about this. But it's an entertaining book. You get lots of variety, anything you need. I mean, as you heard, we got a Western horror in here. Um, so I think everyone will like this book. I'm certainly enjoying the process of working on it, and I need projects to stay out of trouble. So I think the more interest you show in this book, the more interest there'll be for another book. So
Here,
uh,
Mike. I'm with you
yeah,
on that.
you know. Uh, but I love the process of working with Corey and whoever Corey finds for me to work with so much that I think it shows not just with me, but I hope it shows with everybody who's had that experience. And I think it's a book for comic book people, most importantly.
Yeah, yeah.
Lanier, go ahead. Give us your sales pitch for this omnibus.
I think the main thing is just supporting, Corey's ability to find talented individuals and network. He's really good at that. He's good at getting creative minds to come together and really showcase their stuff. And this has been a great opportunity for sure. Also, I want to say, like, for my character in particular, Omen the guest, his story does continue in Global Comics. You just search my name, Lanier Burton, and then you can read through some other new stories with him as well. So, I got to thank Corey for giving me the platform to write this character and figure this out. So it was great that he had his first appearance here in Omnibus, and we're just gonna go expand from there. But you gotta shout out to Corey, man. He's the Barry Gordy of this stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Yeah, yeah,
I'm
definitely
not gonna
shout out to Corey.
I'm not gonna rip y'all off, by the way, not like Barry Gordy did.
Nah, come on, man. You didn't have to do that.
Nah.
You didn't have to do that. We'll talk about that a different day. Tony, we gonna go to Tony again. Tony, what is your sales pitch for this omnibus?
Well, if you're an artist and a writer, or an artist altogether, this is the type of group of people that you want to follow. This is it. This is very inspirational. Even within the group, much being in the group is very inspirational. Just being around talented people and who are motivated. Again, you're not getting just stories that are being assigned, or these are people who want to create something and want to share something special. And I think that's what makes it genuine and unique about this group. And anyone who follows in and joins us and reads our stories and look at the work, they'll get a great inspiration and motivation to even want to do it themselves.
Very well put. Very well put. Casey?
Man, the whole thing is just
Facts.
fun. It's so much stuff in it. It's something for everybody. Just whatever moves you might be in there. Check it out.
All right, Joker. Come on.
He was waiting
Corey,
too.
Corey, I'm very sorry, but this book will never be graded by a CGC, and the reason why is because no one would ever want to encase it in plastic. You know, I feel like this is a book that you buy to read, and I can't speak for any of the other people, but it's just like I've been doing the indie comic book thing for like 5 years, and I've come across like two different types of people. I've come across like the collector that will come to your table and be like, "Is this a first issue? Is this a key? Is this?" And you can tell they're not going to read it. They're just going to put it somewhere, and But with this, it's just like this is a collection of so many great people's work, and like listen, this is Beth's first published writing, like in comics. There's a whole bunch of firsts for all the creatives in here, so it's a special book for that reason too. But it's like this is an anthology for people that enjoy reading comics. That's the best pitch that I could give it. It's just like, yeah, you're not gonna buy this and try and get it authenticated or anything like that. You're gonna want to read it. So
Awesome.
was that funny? Was that funny, Travis?
All right, boss man, Corey.
Oh, Matt, you got to do Matt.
This is
Matt,
your time.
you
This
forgot
is your
Matt.
roundup,
I
and
think Matt
you're gonna
left.
close.
You forgot Matt, Travis.
Where's Matt? Matt, we've lost Matt.
Yeah, I
Matt's
think
right
Matt.
here.
Oh no, he's here.
Yeah, he's
Here we
at the
go.
bottom.
Damn.
Yeah,
We
I
got
don't know
him.
how.
There he is. Oh, he snuck back in. All right, Matt. I'm gonna put you center stage, bud.
You're on mute, Matt. You're on mute.
You're muted, Matt. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Nope, that's your camera.
He went from Beethoven to somebody else.
We lost him. He'll be back. All right, looks like he has technical difficulties, so I'll just go ahead and just this book here is one of the greatest accomplishments I think we've done as a group and as creators. Um, it's I'm so proud of it. I'm so proud of you guys. I'm so proud of what we accomplished and we're continuing to accomplish. And anybody who picks this book up, think about that we put ourselves into this book. We told our stories through this book. And regardless of being horror or whatever, it's something that we wanted other people to experience and see and understand as storytellers, whether it be visual or literal. So to pick this book up is a special thing for all of us because it pushes us to the next level to bring you more, whether it be Ravens Macabre, whether it be Tooth and Nail, whether it be Condry, whatever it may be. It gives us the inspiration to keep pushing forward. So keep check this book out. We really want people to experience the stories we're saying. When I go to conventions, one of the first things people say, something different. Oh my gosh, something different. It's not Marvel, it's not DC, it's not the same stuff over and over again. It's new stories told by people that have a voice too, that not being heard. And I want to give this opportunity for everybody to be heard as much as possible. And that's why I try to get as many artists and creators to get together and do these type of things, whether it be their own individual books like Ugly or Hatui the Infamous or whatever it might be. But as long as you're getting your books out, that's what's important. And for you to be part of that journey with us is a blessing.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed reading all of your stuff from Bird's Eye View Comics. It's very very well done. The artwork is always interesting, but not to the point where it's discouraging to read it. It catches your eye and it makes you entranced in it and look furthermore into the details of the story. Matt, we're gonna try this one more time, brother. You had some background noise, so I had to mute you. So you're still muted. So go ahead and unmute yourself.
How do I unmute?
There you go.
Yeah,
There you
there you
go.
go.
There
There
he
you
is.
go.
Okay.
All right.
Um.
Your sales pitch for this book.
All right. If you love Creep Show, if you love Tales from the Crypt, if you love Black Mirror, I mean, like, if you like any of that, like, dark edge short story, if you're one of those people that know that Stephen King's best work is actually his short stories, then you know the power a short story can have on the fucking psyche. Sorry. No, for real. Like these are good quality stories, and like they're coming from a good source. This is 100% homebrew comics, and I love everything about it. And we have an inspiring editor in chief and a fucking crack team of writers and artists and borderline geniuses. Like this is a quality product, and I think that the more hands it gets into, the more hands it'll get into.
Thank you.
Amen to that.
So very, very well put
Yeah.
there. I think that might have been better than Corey's closing, but
That's fine. I don't care.
Damn.
where
I just want to say for the record, Chris Osborne from Play Comics owns everything I've ever written. So thank you, Chris. Your credit card number is 482.
Yo, shout out Play Comics too, because we did an interview a while
they're
back.
great. Chris
Yeah,
is
yeah. I
amazing.
did an interview with Play Comics too. Yeah.
I love me some Chris. Chris is amazing.
Yeah, shout out to him.
Hey,
Great
real
guy.
quick, everyone's favorite horror medium or visual storytelling medium. What movies you like? Horror. What
Oh
TV show you
man,
like? Horror.
My
I mean,
favorite horror movie of all time would probably have to be The Exorcist.
Hey,
nice.
can't we go wrong there?
I mean, mine is the original Halloween, but a close second is The Thing, as you can tell from reading Cell Block 666. I think The Thing is underrated. As loved as it is, I think it's an underrated classic.
Yep.
Oh wow.
I'm a
Love
Tales from the
Dawn
Dark
of the
Side
Dead.
kind of guy.
Oh, cool.
Tales from the Dark
Nice.
Side, very nice.
That's good. I would say Scream. I love that movie. I love
Scream
how
is a
Wes
good one.
Craven, reinvigorated the slasher and the meta commentary. It was a very clever film, and to this day, you still have questions about who had the mask when and this, that, and the third. I love that movie.
He made horror
Wes Craven's
cool
a master.
again.
Yep.
Anybody ever see
Yes, he
Stir of
did.
Echoes?
You say that again?
Stir of Echoes, yes. Stir of
Stir
Echoes,
of
yes.
Echoes with Kevin Bacon.
Yeah,
Stir
that's
of
a good
Echoes.
one.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
I fucking love that movie.
It's a good one.
I would have to say I got a man. That's hard to do. Turning Night of the Living Dead, Nightmare on Elm Street 3.
Hell yeah! I watched
Dream
that 2 days ago.
Warriors.
We're going through the series.
I just watched that last weekend.
Number 3 is great.
Number
Yeah,
three.
yeah.
Number 3 is just amazing, bro.
Dream
It's
Warriors
still-
was the shit, man.
We should also shout out Child's Play 2. Underrated.
It is actually Child's Play 2 is actually really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. You want to know? So I don't know if
Evil
I've
Dead
even seen it.
series.
Friday the 13th, the old series too, the TV series. That was
Oh
interesting.
yeah. That was
Forgot about that,
interesting.
right? Everybody forgets about that.
Yeah, I
TV
forgot about
series?
that. Yeah, it was
They
a
got a
TV
new one.
series.
They got a
TV?
new one coming
Yeah.
this year or next year, rather, guys.
Oh, Friday the 13th.
Based off of Camp Crystal Lake. It's a preview series. A
Oh,
preview.
Nice.
Oh wow.
Jason Lives.
They doing that.
Yeah, that's
You know I'm already sitting in front of the TV. I can't wait.
And next week is Welcome to Derry, the prequel
Yeah,
to
they
It.
that right now. Yeah.
Nice.
Hey, I'm gonna do a shameless
Oh wait, no.
plug. I
That's
don't know if you got.
isn't that this weekend?
It's this
Nope.
weekend, actually.
It's this weekend. Yeah,
Welcome
this
to
weekend.
Derry,
My
isn't that
bad.
this Sunday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if
Yeah.
you guys have seen Black Phone recently.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Yes.
Black Phone 2, legit, just
I
as
still
good as
gotta
the
see that.
first one.
Really.
I don't know those. I have to look them up.
It was throwing off some like generic Costco horror vibes from that trailer.
It's so good, dude. They
Good?
have
Awesome. I gotta
it's
check it out.
And
it's not
and it's
ripping
written
it
by
off.
Stephen King's son.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joe Hill.
Joe
And
Hill.
it's not a ripoff of Nightmare on Elm Street, but it's got a really good like Nightmare on Elm Street vibe to it. Just check it out.
Have you guys ever read Horns by Joe
I've
Yes,
heard
Hill?
about it.
I
yes.
like
I
that
That
saw the
is an
movie.
movie
amazing
too.
book. The movie sucks, but
It
the book
was.
is
Oh,
great.
Sorry, Travis, we kind of took over your
I thought
Oh,
Lock and Key was his
we could
best.
talk about horror movies for hours, man.
Yeah, I sure
That's my
can too.
jam.
That sounds like a whole nother podcast, though.
I say
I'll
let's
do it.
do
That
it.
sounds like we need to work this out to where y'all come back and we just have a free for
Oh,
all.
Yeah, let's
Let's
Oh
do
do
it.
it.
shit!
Let's
Did we all
do
just become best friends?
Let's schedule it.
it. Let's start following each other, baby. That's what it's
I'm
all about.
ready.
That's what it's all about.
Well, I want to wrap this up because I feel like this could go on for hours. So I will definitely get a hold of you guys and have you back, and we'll have a whole special on horror and the movies and the shows and stuff because
Absolutely.
I'd love to hear everybody's different take on all that because you all have different takes based off of what I read in this omnibus. So in closing, if I am watching this and I want to get my hands on a copy of this, how do I do it?
Head over to birdseyeviewcomics.com. We have it on online, and we also have the volumes. All I don't have any physical volumes left, but I do have all of them on digital online. But if you want the omnibus, we still have the physical for that. So head over to birdseyeviewcomics.com.
All right. Thank you guys so much for coming on here and spending a little bit over an hour of your time with me on a Friday evening when you could have been somewhere else doing something doing
No,
something
I got
else.
no life.
This is cool, man.
Don't worry, we'll
This is
bill you
very
later.
We'll
yeah.
bill me
This is
later.
way cooler than
Thank you,
anything else
Send
I
it to
would have been
Travis.
Corey.
doing.
Send it to
Thank
Corey.
you.
So thank you guys for coming on here and telling your stories. So with that being said, this has been another episode of Travis's Comic Haven, and thanks for watching.